Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Have you ever noticed how doctors, engineers and pilots all use English differently? Alright, let's jump right in. Today we're talking about a very special kind of English, that one that's custom built for specific jobs. We're going to get into the origins of what's known as English for specific purposes, or ESP for short. Really think about it for a second. A pilot uses the short, precise commands. A lawyer speaks in these long, complex, super formal sentences. And a doctor, they're using all this specific terminology to talk about a diagnosis. They're all using English, sure, but there almost feels they speak different language, doesn't it? So why is that? Well, it's actually the name for this whole phenomenon. The answer lies in a field called English for specific purposes, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. So what on earth is ESP? Simply put, it's a laser-focused approach to learning English. It's not about learning to chat about the weather, no. It zeroes on the exact language, the jargon, and the skills someone needs to actually succeed in their specific job, whether that's in finance or engineering or aviation. You know, the easiest way to get it is to compare it to what most of us think of as English class. That's a general English. General English is for your everyday conversations. ESP, on the other hand, is like specialized technique for a particular job, whether that's writing a legal contract or understanding a super dense technical manual. I love this analogy. Think of it as the difference between a Swiss Army knife and a surgeon scalpel. Both are tools, but one is for a very specific purpose. So how this whole specialized approach even come about? Well, the story of ESP is really built on three big pillars, and the first one wasn't some fancy academic theory. It was a massive global necessity. Okay, so picture this. World War II is over. The world is scrambling to rebuild and connect, and what happens, you get this incredible boom in international trade in science and technology. All of a sudden, you're professionals from dozens of different countries who need to collaborate, and they desperately need common language to do it. And English, well, it became the default for this new global era. This slide really does capture that new reality perfectly. As you can imagine, an engineer in Japan now had to read a technical manual from the US. A business person from Brazil needed to negotiate deals in London. A doctor in Egypt had to keep up with the latest medical journals, all published in English. You see, general English just wasn't going to cut it anymore. They needed language for a very specific purpose. But here's the thing. A global need on its own wasn't enough to create a whole new field of study. It also took a brand new idea. And that brings us to our second pillar, a complete revolution in how we think about language. So at the same time, linguists started to shift their focus. Instead of just studying grammar rules in a vacuum, they started asking how is language actually used in the real world, and this simple question was a total game changer. It moved the focus away from abstract rules and into practical real-life communication. This new approach revealed something absolutely fascinating, which you can see right here in this table. Researchers found every profession has its unique dialect of English. For instance, aviation English relies on short, standardized commands for absolute clarity. Medical English is packed with Latin terms and very formal reports. And legal English, well, it's famous for being internationally precise, formal, and must be honest, pretty complex. Each one is a specialized tool for a specialized job. Okay, so we have a global need and we have a linguistic idea. That final piece of puzzle was a new way of teaching, that by the most important person right at the center of it all, the learner. This insight really came from educational psychology, and it confirms something great teachers have always known deep down. Students just learn better when the materials is directly relevant to their lives and their goals. It's so simple, right? Motivation is the fuel for learning. And this quote just stand along the head, it sums it all up perfectly. Learning is just so much more effective when it's tied to things you'll actually do. For business students, that means they get to do real financial reports, not just memorize an abstract vocabulary list. The key takeaway is just one word: relevant. So this whole learner-centered approach became the engine of ESP. It means using authentic materials from the field and focusing on real-world tasks. It's just common sense. A doctor is going to be far more motivated and way more successful practicing for medical presentation than just making small talk. So let's pull all these pieces together and see exactly how these three big forces created the field of ESP as we know it. It was really the conversations of these three distinct factors, that kind of perfect storm that gave birth to English for specific purposes. So let's recap. First, there was the need, which came from this newly globalized world. Then, there was the idea, from that revolution in linguistics. And finally, you had the method, that new learner-centered approach to teaching. The need, the idea, and the method all converged at the perfect time, and poof, ESP was born. And you know, the story isn't over. Not by a long shot. ESP isn't some dusty historical footnote. It's one of the most vital and active areas of language education today. As a new professions and new technologies emerge, ESP is a dynamic branch of English teaching. It's constantly adapting to meet those new specific needs. Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. We started with doctors, lawyers, and pilots. But what about the English for data scientists, or for AI ethicists, or for virtual reality architects? As our words get more and more specialized, every single day, the need for this kind of targeted language is only going to grow. So the real question is, what comes next? Thank you for watching, and I hope this video helped you better understand the origins of ESP. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share it with your classmates, and subscribe to my channel for more university level English content. See you in the next video, inshallah.